Hello, everybody. Dr. Dan Miller here. You're on the 250 River with Dr. Dan, episode 56. 250 years ago this week, ending December 18th, 1775. We're top fiving from that week, which I kind of unfolded some of the events that I've uncovered in my latest edition of Americanism Redux, which you can see on the front page of my website. I'm in an unusual position. Yes, that's true. It's totally freezing. It feels like it's the end of the world on top of the world here in the middle of the world. So, welcome from the south side of Indianapolis on a very raw, frigid, biting, cutting Friday afternoon. I'm a day after the 18th, so thank you for indulging my small delay in getting this up and out to you. Top 5, as I said, episode 56. We're doing this in honor of the Westboro Congregational Church in Westboro, Massachusetts, 250 years ago. Hello, folks from that group. This is for you. And we will start with number 5 as your pastor, your minister, the good Reverend Ebenezer Parkman. Reverend Parkman's diary is online, by the way. If you want a great document and resource, I encourage you to take a look at it. Just type in Ebenezer Parkman 1775 diary, and you'll see it come up. Today's theme, the Redux theme, is rituals. We're going to see that today in 5 different iterations with leadership questions for you. So let's start with the good Reverend Ebenezer Parkman. He's seen a ritual for him in his area of Massachusetts, outside of Boston. The ritual every December, it's livestock butchering time. So hogs primarily, cattle some, are the focal points, the victims, I suppose, of butchering that's going on when the temperatures turn cold. It allows the meat to be exposed longer periods of time than otherwise during the year, and so they can do all what they need to do and kill it, carve it up, drain it, or drain it, then carve it up, boil it, salt it, and then barrel it. For everything that doesn't get barreled as salted meat, it'll be smoked in some smokehouse somewhere on someone's property. But that's what Ebenezer Parkman has seen this December, as he sees every December. That's the ritual around him. Kind of a violent, orderly yet very disorderly type of time for the people who do that on a regular basis. Here's why I'm bringing it up to you. He's upset. Not about the butchering. He's been around that. He knows what that means. He's upset because one of his neighbors is doing it on Sunday. And Reverend Parkman is bothered by that fact. That's the Sabbath, the day that God told Christians to rest, Jews and Christians to rest, and so Parkman thinks, well, you should rest. Come Monday, to quote Jimmy Buffett, or to paraphrase Jimmy Buffett, come Monday, it'll be all right. We're going to do the butchering then. But the guy will not relent. He will not yield. He's going to do his butchering on Sunday. Thanks, Reverend, for your concern. And that's where they leave it, with him going off on his task of December, and Parkman kind of left shaking his head. So here's my leadership question for you. What do you do when you have 2 rituals that come into clash or conflict with each other? Or maybe it's a ritual that you have and then somebody else has a different ritual, and those conflict. What do you do when 2 rituals conflict or clash with each other, like we see here with the Reverend Parkman? So that's number 4. That's number 5. Here is number 4. Dr. Samuel Gelston, Gelston, Dr. Samuel Gelston, or Gelston. I don't know how you pronounce it. We'll go with Gelston. That sounds better. He's a doctor, as I said. And wow, he's on Nantucket Island off of Cape Cod, and he is essentially a 18th century bioterrorist. He is an avid, ardent, and unapologetic loyalist, a supporter of British imperial rights, and he's going to do everything he can do, anything he can do, to hurt the colonial cause to help the British cause. And as far as our Dr. Gelston is concerned, he's got a special expertise. He knows what smallpox is all about, as everybody else does. It is the disease that has killed thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people, year after year, it seems, in the New World, native and non-native alike. Our good doctor is now planning to spread smallpox. Now, on its face, of course, that would be horrific. It would blow up colonial life wherever it appears. There's another reason why he's doing it too. New England, Massachusetts in particular, has developed over the course of several decades now a pretty effective system at how to handle it. Doesn't prevent it, it doesn't stop it, but it does cope with it well on a community by community basis. And so it's a ritual by this point. And so what the doctor is taking advantage of is this ritual, and he's going to use it kind of against them to explode or distract or derail the colonial cause through the conscious and strategic spread of smallpox that he's trying to plan right now. So it's a remarkable thing. Here's my leadership question for you. Let's go to COVID. Did COVID produce a ritual that for you has stuck? Produced a lot of things as reactions, but have any of those reactions, or has one reaction in particular, stuck and become a ritual for you? Let's go on to number 3. Peter Gander. Peter Gander is a gunsmith in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 80 miles west of Philadelphia. I think he's around 40 years old or so, with a family. Peter has been, shall we say, semi-volunteered by the local committee of safety, which is the group that is organized in Lancaster, a town, Lancaster, to support, promote, and advance the colonial cause in the conflict against the British. So the committee of safety said, hey, Peter, we know you and about a half a dozen others are really good at making guns. We need guns. We don't have any other place to get guns, and we'd like you to start making guns. We'll pay you for them. Start making guns for use against the British. And if you decide not to, Peter, well, we're going to put your name in the newspaper publicly and publicize it as being one of the people who's refused to make guns for the colonial cause. So it's your choice, Peter. You can do it and get some money and pats on the back and feel good about everybody. Everybody feels good about you, or you can not do it, and we'll just see what happens from there. Peter decides to do it, and so right now he's about in his 3rd week of cranking out one by one completed gun at a time, guns for sale to the Continental Congress, the Continental Army, whoever is writing the checks and giving him the money, as far as that's concerned. Here's my leadership question for you. By the way, he never does renounce his support of the colonial cause, so I think it's safe to say he's a supporter of it. However, I won't say gun to the head. He's been kind of told, you're now really going to take your support for us and just advance it a little bit, right? And make this stuff for us. That's a bit of a push. At any rate, here's my question for you, off of Peter Gander's story as the 3rd item on our top 5. It's a new routine for him to make guns. Now that's an old routine, but to make guns for the cause. That's the new routine. So here's a question. At what point does a new routine turn into a ritual? Can it even turn into a ritual? What has to be true for a routine to turn into a ritual? I've got some thoughts on that. Gosh, I'd love to hear your replies to this. I'll just real quick toss out something on my side. I feel like purpose and meaning have to be added in order for something that is routine, that has become a habit, to then take on a kind of a larger status as a ritual. Just my thought. I wonder what you think. What's it take for, or even can, a routine turn into a ritual? Number 2, and we're almost done. Oh boy, we're going to combine 2 things, Virginia and South Carolina, and I want you to think of these as a pair. 2 things are happening this week in each of these 2 places, and they both involve enslavement, and they both involve enslaved people who have escaped in order to find freedom with British officials in the military, British officials in imperial government, to find their freedom there in exchange for fighting against the colonials, the colonial rights supporters who want to continue to enslave them. So, you remember Lord Dunmore in Virginia, the governor, had announced his proclamation. You come join our side, you get your freedom. You come join our side and fight the nuts, you get your freedom. There was a naval officer off the coast of South Carolina that said kind of the same thing, unofficially in his capacity. And so in South Carolina, around a couple hundred escapees have collected together in a camp on Sullivan's Island. And 250 years ago, this week, a South Carolinian force of 150 guys plus 54 Catawba native warriors smash that camp to pieces. They kill 50, 20 get away, and the rest they haul back into enslavement, probably to suffer what is a ritual of punishment for enslaved people who not only escape, but who attempt to encourage others to escape, and who organize large, almost insurrection scale levels of escape. Those folks are going to be caught, tortured, and executed. And as we saw in my story here, 50 have already been kind of executed just right there on the spot at Sullivan's Island. So you can guess what's going to happen to the rest. That's what's happening in the South Carolina. In Virginia, remember, Lord Dunmore, same kind of thing with the offer, the proclamation, freedom for service, service to get your freedom. Colonel William Woodford, who was the commander of the colonial forces that defeated Dunmore's group at Great Bridge last week, at the Battle of Great Bridge. And now Dunmore's influence is starting to wane. He's starting to retreat. He's starting to be on the way out. But we've got captured, enslaved black men primarily. What do we do with them? And for those who joined Dunmore's call, who accepted the call, Woodford wants the Virginia legislature to do this. We want to have them back on their own, peaceably. You're not going to be punished, even though we have a Virginia law on the books, like South Carolina, where you'll get executed if you're caught doing these kinds of things. That's the law. We're going to alter the law and allow for a pardon if you come back peaceably and rejoin your previously enslaved arrangement or powerlessness to some degree, or to a great degree. We'll pardon you. Now, I want to point this out to you. So here's how this goes to ritual. Because remember, it's the same ritual kind of in both colonies, the same ritual of punishment. In South Carolina, no questions asked. Boom, ritual back in play. Boom, you're going to get executed. In Virginia, that should have been the case, but we're not going to do this. We're going to hold it back a bit because William Woodford and a handful of other people said, nah, let's do a pardon. Let's soften it, let's alter it, let's modify it just in this case. Here's the leadership question for you. It's not really a question, it's a comment. And I'll do one more and I'm out of your way. Even the largest, most rock-like ritual can have a weakness, a softness, a potential for cracking inside of it. Now, in my Redux, I talked about a fleck being kind of chipped away off the rock of enslavement. Rock's still there. Rock's still strong. Rock still seems very imposing and unmovable of enslavement. But boy, we just saw a little chip fly off when Woodford succeeded in having that harsh law, even temporarily, altered. So again, it's not a leadership question. It's more of a comment or an observation that even the largest, most rock-like ritual can have a weakness, a softness, a crack inside of it where change will happen. Number 1. John Hancock, chosen as the president of the Second Continental Congress, which is sitting in Philadelphia. The heart of the colonial union is this Continental Congress. That's the beating heart of it. Hancock is the selected president, the president, I call them, because he's really the presiding officer. So the word president really ought to be pronounced president in this case of the colonial union. He's organizing a new ritual. They've got a formal guest coming in this week, a formal guest, an out-of-town guest, an out-of-nation guest. In fact, ahead of a nation, he's calling it. It's the Lenape Nation in the west, in the eastern Ohio River Valley. It used to be called the Delaware Indians. They're the Lenape is their native name, and here's the White Eyes who is coming to town to talk to Congress. He's going to be introduced. A ceremony will be held for him. A ritual will be conducted for him as this visiting dignitary. Now, I want to pay some homage here to him. Kokethagechtan. Kokethagechtan is his native name. Kokethagechtan comes into Congress, into Pennsylvania State House, and all the delegates welcome him. Hancock delivers a speech to him. There's certain promises made. There's all kinds of courtesies extended. It's a formal kind of thing. It's a ritual. Here's my leadership question for you. Do you need to start a new ritual now? This Christmas season, this holiday end of the year, do you need to start a new ritual as we head into 2026? And if the answer is yes, how do you want to go about that? Hancock's doing it. Take your inspiration from him. All right, what's the big idea, Dan? Remember, we've got union first. We're a union before we're a nation. The union is the gestation period before the birth. So important as to what's going on and the environmental conditions and the DNA in that gestation period. Here's what we got. As a union, we need our own new rituals. I was going to say symbols. We need those too. We need symbols and rituals. Symbols you see, rituals you do. So that's a truth. There's another truth. Those rituals better actually reflect what the union is trying to be. Yeah, got to have the rituals. But oh yeah, the rituals have to be rooted in who and what and why we're trying to be who, what, and why want to be as a colonial union here in December of 1775. I'm Dr. Dan Miller. We just did episode 56. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Get those top 5 from 250 years ago today. Go on to Americanism Redux on my website, front page, it's historicalsolutions.com. Look at yesterday's entry. Keep an eye out for other stuff that's coming up, including the George Washington podcast, the NFL, Pro Football in America 250. I hope if I don't talk to you, I'm not sure about next week yet. We'll just have to hang it and see it. But I hope you're having a great week now in the run-up to our most wonderful time of the year. I forget who it was that sang that. Andy Williams, I guess. All right, everybody, take care. I'll talk to you soon.